So you made a batch of macarons and they didn't turn out. Macarons can be so frustrating. And then you go to research to see what the cause could be, and you see the list is a mile long. Now you're overwhelmed. Where do I even start? You just want to give up and throw the towel in. I feel you. It's not a matter of if you're going to have an issue. It's a matter of when. Trust me, I get it. Macarons can be frustrating, and troubleshooting can be so overwhelming because you have no idea where to start. Hi, I'm Amy from the Macaron Academy, where we turn home bakers into master macaron makers. I've been making macarons for over 8 years, and all of a sudden, I'm having an issue, and I thought this would be a great opportunity. I want to share with you my simple 6-step framework to macaron troubleshooting. It is based off the scientific method. This is a simplified version of the scientific method. This method is taught in schools worldwide, and it's the most accepted research method in the scientific community, okay? And let's face it, macarons are a science, whether we like it or not. So let's dive into this 6-step framework. So we have already completed step number 1, and that is observe. What's going on with our shells? So I'm gonna use my real life example that I'm dealing with right now, and that is I have wet, oily looking shells. So that's number 1, that's the observation. So step number 2 is we naturally ask, okay, why? Why am I having wet, oily looking shells? Simple enough, right? Observe and ask the question. Step number 3 is the hypothesis. This is where we're gonna start troubleshooting, okay? So you've done the research, you see the list that's a mile long. Where do you start? Well, first of all, let's see if we can eliminate some of those. I've already done a lot of macaron troubleshooting research, and I created a troubleshooting guide. So I'm referencing my guide, and this is problem number 17. My shells have wet, dark looking spots. All right, I see there's 5 common causes for this issue. Which one do I pick? The thing you want to remember in this 6-step framework is you only want to change one thing at a time. That way you know what works and what doesn't work. In our case, cause number 1, oven temperature is too low. I have new ovens. When I do remember to check my oven thermometer, they seem to be running pretty true to the setting, so I'm gonna mark that one off. The second cause is the use of oily, wet, or expired ingredients. Now, in doing my research in social media groups and things like that around macarons, I came across a conversation around this particular brand of almond flour that I use. Other people were having the same issue I was having. Wet, splotchy, oily looking shells. Like, okay, so this could be the cause. This is what I want to test. My hypothesis, my almond flour is causing the wet, splotchy shells. Simple enough, right? I observed the problem, I asked why, and now I'm saying it's the almond flour that's causing the issue. Step number 4 is to make a prediction. My prediction is, if I change almond flour brands, my shells will no longer be wet, oily, and splotchy looking, which leads us to step number 5. That is the test. This is where we actually do the work. We do the experiment. I'm keeping everything else exactly the same. Same recipe, same temperature, same bake time, everything stays the same. Only thing changing is the brand of almond flour. At the end of the test, it's a pass or fail. That is step number 6, the results. So I baked a tray of macarons, only changing the almond flour brand. And my results were a fail. I still had wet, splotchy, oily looking shells. Obviously, it's not the almond flour because I got it with, my favorite brand, and I got it with this other brand. Something else is going on. So it's a cycle. We repeat the process in the framework all over again. Here's the observation. I still have wet, oily shells. Step number 2 is ask, why do I have these shells? So you already know the hypothesis is where we start to troubleshoot. So what's the one thing I'm gonna change? So for the next test, I'm actually going to test the oven temperature because I noticed when I took my shells out of the oven doing this first experiment, my thermometer was reading 30 degrees lower than my oven setting. That hasn't happened before. So maybe something is going on with my oven, and I want to test that out because that's the number 1 cause for wet, splotchy, oily looking shells. They're underbaked. All right, we're going to repeat the process. Wet, oily looking shells. Why? Oven. We're going to change the oven temperature. The prediction, if I increase the oven temperature, I will not have wet, oily looking shells. I do the test, same thing. The only thing I'm changing this time is the oven temperature. It's a cycle, and it just keeps repeating itself. Don't be afraid. You just gotta do one step at a time. Observe, ask, hypothesis, predict, test, results. Yes or no. So keep going until you find the result you're looking for. And I would love to know, what macaron problems are you dealing with? I love to do research, and I want to help you overcome the frustration and the overwhelm. So comment below and let me know. And I will make future videos around macaron troubleshooting so you can become a master macaron maker. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And while you're here, check out this other macaron video. Have a wonderful and blessed day.